Hey everybody, DragonTrainerMatt here with a new video series where we're going to be talking about the new Pokemon Sword and Shield Pokedex. This is a book that's available in stores. It's also available on Amazon. So check this out. This Pokedex typically costs $25 in GameStop, in Walmart, but we found it for much less. If you go to dtmrecommends.com/Pokedex, it'll take you straight to Amazon where you can actually pick it up for $7 less. You'll save $7. And also by clicking that link and buying something from Amazon, you're going to be supporting our channel. The link's also in the description of this video and you'll see it popping up on here from time to time. Take a look at this book. First thing you're going to notice is it is super thick. If you threw this at someone, it could really hurt someone. They should put a warning label on here because you know that there's going to be kids that are going to throw this. I remember when one of my friends, younger brother, threw a book like this and really hurt him. So please use this book responsibly, okay? Now, there is a second book available, which is the Pokemon Sword and Shield walkthrough. We're going to do a separate video on that. We're also going to do additional videos where we dive further into this Pokedex. But you can consider this video just an overall look at the Pokedex and pretty much my review. Massive, massive book. Look at that. What, almost 500 pages? So we start right off the bat with a checklist. Now, I would not personally come in here and physically check them off, though you could if you wanted to. I'm going to try to resist. I have to admit that when I see that, it does make me want to come in here with a pen and just, see who I got. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So I want to, this is a good example of just how helpful this book is. There's a lot of extra stuff in here that didn't need to be. So check this out. They give you all the Pokemon in Pokedex order, but then they also give them to you in alphabetical order. So if you have a Pokemon that you want to look up and you don't know what number they are, all you do is look in here and it'll tell you. Next up, we have just some general advice about the video game itself. Please note, the other book, the walkthrough, goes much more in depth on how to play the game and gives you specifically a walkthrough on what to do to complete the game. This just kind of gives you a general overview, especially about trading and evolving Pokemon and hatching eggs, since you're going to need to do all those things if you're looking to complete your Pokedex. Now, me personally, I did complete my Pokedex. It was not an easy feat, but it sure was fun. If you've completed your Pokedex, let me know. I'd love to hear. So check this out. This is something I did not expect to be in this book. Egg group tables. If you are into breeding Pokemon, especially competitively, this is going to be a very valuable resource for you. Basically, all Pokemon come from different groups, and when you hatch them, you have to have two from the same group, with the exception of good old Ditto here. I'm not going to get into depth about this here, but it's really helpful to know what groups everyone is from if you're going to be breeding. And this is just one example of how, people think that Pokemon is like this kids game, and kids certainly do love it, and that's great. But if you want to dive deeper in, there's so much here, and that's a lot about what this book is about. Okay, so now we got some information about the wild area. Of course, there's a lot of Pokemon to catch in the wild area. There's even Pokemon that change depending on the weather. Ah, look at this. They even talk about shiny Pokemon, or as they say, brilliant Pokemon. Did you know that a Pokemon's chance for shiny goes up drastically if you encounter them a ton of times? So some people will play the game and they will encounter the same Pokemon over again, over again, over again, in hopes of catching them. Me personally, I like breeding Pokemon to find shinies, though of course it can be pretty time consuming. Here's a map of the wild area. This is helpful. Now, one thing that's missing from here is there's not a map showing all of the dens where the Giganta Max Pokemon come out of, and that would have been really nice to have, but I guess we can't have everything, right? I mean, this book already is pretty heavy. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wasn't this video called the Pokedex? How come we haven't even seen a Pokedex? Well, guess what? We're there. Right here we are, the Pokedex. So they let you know how to use the Pokedex, and now we dive right in. Now, This Pokedex could have been small. There could have been 9 Pokemon on each page, but they didn't do that. They made a huge oversized book that's twice as big than it needed to be, and they give us this beautiful art showing us all the evolved forms. Look at that. That's so cool. If you like to draw Pokemon, this would be such a great place for that. Now, you'll find that they break things down and really give you a lot of information. First off, they show you how the Pokemon are related. So how you turn Scorbunny into Reboot, it's just by leveling him up and leveling him up. Now, these two are pretty straightforward, but as you'll see, there's all kinds of crazy stuff you got to do to evolve these Pokemon, and now you'll know. I can't tell you how many times I played the video game and I've tried to evolve someone and I'm scratching my head because I don't know what to do, and this book is going to tell you exactly what to do. Let me give you an example here. Let's find a Pokemon that evolves in a different way. See, look, Mincino and Cincino evolves through using the Shiny Stone. You need the Shiny Stone. Look at this one here. Pancham evolves into Pangoro only when you get to level 32 with a Dark type Pokemon in your party. What in the world? I don't know how you would ever figure some of this stuff out. I personally would go pretty crazy. Look at this. They even show you if there's a difference between the male and the female form of the Pokemon. So with Pikachu, for example, his tail's different. A lot of the times it's the same, but here it's different. And look at this. Pumpkaboo and Gourgeist actually come in different sizes. I wondered this. I was confused by this, because I was encountering them and it looked to me like they were different sizes. I don't know if it was something with my glasses. I didn't realize until I saw this book that they actually come in different sizes. And you guessed it, their stats are different. Speaking of which, sometimes when it's helpful, they do show you the stats. Everybody's stats are later on in the book. We're going to get to that shortly. So take a look at this. Whenever you look in your Pokedex in the video game, there's always a line or two about the Pokemon. It's fun to read, lets you learn a little bit more about them. But, and I didn't even realize this, I played through Sword, I played through Shield. Each game has a different set of lines talking about the Pokemon. So unless you're reading every single thing, you're going to miss out on some pretty cool detail. So now when you want to read about Pichu, you can see that he does this and this. They also let you know how to find every single Pokemon. So like Solosis here, he's only in Pokemon Shield. He's an exclusive to that game. If you're playing Sword, you're going to have to trade with someone to get him. You could have been pulling your hair out trying to catch this little guy. He's not even in your game. Well, guess what? I'm 44 and I can't afford to lose any hair, so I'm going to look at this book. They also tell you what the Pokemon weigh and how tall they are, which is an interesting thing to look at sometimes. Some Pokemon do really special things, like this one here, Type Null, which is a little bit hard to understand, but he's a very unique Pokemon. Or she, right? Okay, now we're at the Legendaries, so you can see how we have some additional information about them. And now we get to the part everybody's been waiting for, the Giganta Max Pokemon. The huge Pokemon unique to this game. A special form that they can go into. So check this out. First up, they explain how to get Gigantamax Pokemons. Talk about the crystals and the dens, and then they go through and every single one gets their own whole big page. This is especially helpful if you wanted to be drawing these cool Pokemon. Look at these nice detailed pictures. And you'll notice that when a Pokemon has a Gigantamax ability, what's written about them in Sword and Shield is different. It also explains their Gigantamax move, which is really cool. And there's a lot of Gigantamax Pokemon. Look at these two. These two are only available right now if you played Let's Go Eevee or Let's Go Pikachu, which of course I have both. So I have both of these. Actually, I have two of them because I played Pokemon Sword and Shield, and you better believe I claimed them in both. Am I crazy? Tell me what you think. Look at that. That's a wild Pokemon there. If you play the card game, you might recognize that some of these G-Maxes, well, they're called V-Maxes for whatever reason in the card game, but the artwork for Lapras is really, really cool in the card game. And now we get to the second half of the book. Oh, look at that. They say the best for last. Giganta Max Charizard. That is so cool. Now we get to the other substantial part of the book, the move tables. This is pretty insane. So look at this. They break down everything for each Pokemon. Now, first off, you see Scorbunny here. Scorbunny evolves into Raboot, and Raboot evolves into Cinderace. They show us all the moves that each stage of the evolution can learn when leveling up. Like, check this out. Cinderace can only learn certain moves by being Cinderace. He's not going to ever learn Court Change if he's Raboot or Scorbunny. Plus, when he levels up, his stats go up. This is really easy to see and visualize because it's in this book. I realize all this stuff is available online if you dig around for it, but again, having it all here visually is very beneficial for me, at least. I find it very helpful. So these are the moves that can be learned by leveling up. They also list if there's any moves that can be learned through evolution, if there's any moves that can be learned while they're in the egg, which is something else that I'm not going to go into here. But yeah, it's a thing. Here's an example here. Oddish, look at all those egg moves he can learn. TM moves are moves that you can learn by buying something in the game, and then once you buy it, you can teach it to as many of your Pokemon as you want. The TR moves are similar, except that once you use it, you can't reuse it. So if you do want to teach a couple Pokemon the same TR move, it's not a problem, but you gotta buy or find multiple copies of it. And of course, the big thing is, any specific Pokemon can't learn every move. This shows you what it can learn. So if you're a competitive player, you can go in here and you can look and you can see, okay, so Cinderace, he is a fast Pokemon. That's certainly going to be one of his biggest strengths. And these are the moves that he can learn. So I'm going to think about how I'm going to build Cinderace to be a competitive Pokemon. Oh, look at that. Look at my fingers there from touching this book. Be careful, gang, right? I should have got out the DragonTrainerMatt gloves that I typically use when holding a dragon, but that's okay. They even show you if there's moves that can be learned from the tutor. So look, Cinderace has two moves that he can learn from the tutor. It's a special person in the game. But only Cinderace can learn them, not Raboot or Scorbunny. That's pretty cool. And a lot of Pokemon, they don't have any tutor moves, but some special ones do, and they're typically very powerful. It also lets you know if there's a hidden ability, what their ability is. It's crazy. And of course, if you're playing competitively, you can go bananas trying to get a Pokemon of a specific type. You know, we'll talk about that in another video, but it is something that I have done. Okay, so as you can see here, this takes up a bulk of the rest of the book. But we're not done, because we also have a section here at the end that's going to give us additional information. Sometimes things we've already seen in a different way that's going to be really helpful. Let me explain. There's different ways that Pokemon can learn moves. And what it does here is it lists every single move that there is in the game and tells you what it does. And also the attack power. So that's really cool. And the type. So let's say that you wanted to learn, the strongest grass type move. Or is there a grass type move that does this or does that? It's going to be in here. And you can see it's crazy. Yeah, this is just a kid's game, and yet there's like a million different moves you can learn, and so many different ways you could raise a Pokemon to fight in battle how you want. Do you want to raise a Pokemon that's going to be fast? Do you want to raise one that's going to be able to take a lot of damage? That's up to you to figure out. And a book like this goes a long way in helping you prepare on how to do exactly that. Now we've got the max moves. That's when a Pokemon has Dynamaxed. Look at this. All the TMs are listed and where to find them. You know what? Another goal that I have for the game is to get every single TM, just to have it. Not that I'm going to use them all, but just to have it. It's one of those just to have kind of things. And I got to tell you, it gets to be a little bit difficult to track all of them down, and they're all listed here, and including the TRs as well. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of the book, a reverse moves lookup. What this means is if there's a specific move you want to use, you can look it up in here and then see who can learn it. So Aqua Jet, that's a water move. Only these Pokemon can learn it. Look at Air Slash here. That is a really popular move because a lot of Pokemon can do it. Arm Thrust, on the other hand, is only seen by a single Pokemon species. That's pretty wild. There's certainly some unique things in here, and it's fun just to look at this and realize, well, I didn't realize that move is learnable by so many Pokemon, or wow, only one Pokemon can learn that move, or that's a new move introduced by this game. Look at this. Drum Beating, Rillaboom, he can do that. That's a new move for this generation of Pokemon. What's this move here that so many people can do? Facade. Wow, that's interesting. A lot of Pokemon can do that one. Okay, so we are nearing the end of the book here. One of the cool things that I like about this is that, let's say that I'm looking online at a strategy and I want to raise a competitive Cinderace for battle. I could read online, strategy tips, and I could see what moves I need to teach Cinderace, and then very quickly, using these tables, I can figure out what the move is, how I can learn it, where I can find it. They even go through all the abilities. So this book is completely focused on helping you understand as much as possible about your Pokemon. Look at this, natures. When a Pokemon is born, or when you catch one, each Pokemon has a specific nature, and that nature increases and decreases stats, or sometimes doesn't do anything. It's a huge part of breeding competitive Pokemon, determining their nature. And there's also some tricks you can do to do that and manipulate that. Something, again, that we could talk about in another video. It goes through all the berries, just pretty much anything that a Pokemon can interact with that's going to affect battle play. Things it can hold in the battle, even what's available in the shops. Whew. And here's the type matchups. There's a chart that comes along with the book. You also get a poster that is a Pokedex that shows all the Pokemon that you could use. Maybe you could use that to mark off the Pokemon as you catch it. There's also a chart that shows you really easily. This would be something to keep close by whenever you play, because it immediately tells you if you have a fighting type, they're going to have an advantage against these and a disadvantage against these, or maybe even be ineffective. We've come to the end. How about that? This book was the combination of a lot of people. What a crazy job. I gotta tell you, what would be the coolest job ever? To be able to be designing Pokemon. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? So that's it. So again, I love this book. I think it's awesome. I can't see myself not getting the Pokedex when it comes out each generation. The art, the information, especially if you get competitive or even just want to catch all the Pokemon, I personally find it to be very valuable. Again, I know you can look online to learn a lot of this stuff, but having it all in one place like this in such a thoughtful way I think is huge. Being able to see all the moves like that and being able to look moves up in a reverse order, it's really cool. So check this out. This Pokedex typically costs $25 in GameStop, in Walmart, but we found it for much less. If you go to dtmrecommends.com/Pokedex, it'll take you straight to Amazon, where you can actually pick it up for $7 less. You'll save $7. And also, by clicking that link and buying something from Amazon, you're going to be supporting our channel, which would be amazing. Even if you click the link and buy something else. The link's also in the description of this video, and you'll see it popping up on here from time to time. Thank you so much for watching. Again, we're going to do additional videos where we go into this Pokedex in much deeper detail. And if you're a Pokemon geek like me, I think that you're going to find it really interesting. I'll catch you later.